computer. All right, you ready, broski? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Monday Night Marks podcast. The podcast where we break down Nitro versus Raw from the Monday Night War, head-to-head, segment by segment, week by week. I'm here with your boy Hollywood Edwards.
What's up, Q?
What's up? I'm Lil Q, a.k.a. Max, a.k.a. whatever you want to call me.
Yes.
Don't put me in a box, guys. Come on.
There's no box big enough to hold you.
Exactly.
My brother. Yes.
I'm infinite.
You are infinite. Totally infinite.
Totally.
Epically infinite.
Epically. That's the best way to put it. Epically infinite. That would be my merch shirt. Lil Q, a.k.a. Max, epically infinite.
There you go. When is our merch coming out? Did you
I don't
do
know.
that yet?
I didn't do it yet.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we should hire a merch guy.
Maybe we should.
We'll figure it out. If any of you guys listening are into merch, hit us up.
Yeah.
But we won't even charge you anything. Just make merch, and then
I used to know a good logo guy, but he ghosted, so I don't know where he went.
Rip.
Yep.
So that's why we just use the old phone apps now for our logo. Shout out Art. Sponsor maybe? Nah.
Maybe eventually.
Yeah. So before we do this, I guess we'll take this opportunity to shout out the boy AC because this is the first episode since he shouted us out, right?
Yes.
That's your homie. So you guys go check him out on streaming platforms. You do a podcast with him called Cool Truth, and White House. You guys all do a podcast there called Cool Truth. You guys post like what? He posts like what, weekly to bi-weekly? He posts a lot. So
yeah. So here's the quick story on this. Back we were on AC and I were on a network, podcasting network called 1640 PWPR with King Firehawk. And he slammed the both of us together, and we never spoke before. And we were like, all right, cool, let's try and do a show. And that was 5 years ago. Then last year, he's like, I want to bring Cool Truth back. And I'm like, I'm busy. And he's like, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm like, all right, cool. So he grabbed White House. So this is like the second incarnation. But then at some point last year, I jumped on with them and never left. So now it's like it's like a three-way Cool Truth now. So it's cool.
It's you got booked together and then eventually use your creative control to block it, and then you ended up just wanting to do it anyway.
Exactly.
but yeah, you guys go check them out. They've been the homies forever. I've never even I think maybe I talked to AC once, but I know him essentially, and they're all the homies. They all got their own podcasts, and you can go to Spreaker, and is where they normally go out of. But Cool Truth podcast is what they do.
Yes,
and they're more current events right now. So
yes,
yeah.
We do a little AEW Dynamite review if you're interested in that.
Yeah,
and actually, we're talking about implementing some changes to broaden the away from AEW and more into wrestling as a whole. Current, so. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all been talking about really, at least you and I, Hollywood, we've been talking about expanding the brand a little bit, doing some other things. Well, no, we're just feeling it out right now, but just for you guys to look out because there might be some general more content coming out other than just Monday Night Marks. I mean, this is definitely the mainstay. I know Hollywood and I love doing this, and this is really fun for us.
Oh, it's fun, yes.
And I know most of the people we talk to and the listeners and you guys really enjoy it too, it seems like. It's fun to reminisce about when wrestling was, I say good, but every time I watch Raw lately, these Raws, it's you guys will listen, but yeah. So
it's about to get good, I think.
Yeah, you can tell it is. It's the really bad calm before the really cool storm.
Exactly. Well said.
But so here we are. I guess this is episode 4 of the podcast, but this is week 3 really of our Nitro review. And week 2 of the head-to-head, because we did Fall Brawl, a Fall Brawl review last episode for episode 3, which was really friggin' fun, and it was a great show, and I think you guys should go check it out.
Yes.
But yeah, so here we are. We're week 3. This is the second Raw we're reviewing, the second head-to-head we're reviewing. And yeah, so we both liked Nitro the first 2 times, or last time they won the head-to-head, and the first Nitro show was really good. just for background for content for this show. Raw last week was, if you guys want to go listen, or if you already listened, we disliked it quite a bit. But yeah, so here we are. I guess we'll get right into it then, Hollywood. Kick it off with Nitro.
All right, so we are September 18th, Nitro.
95.
Do you have attendance and figures?
Attendance, 3,200. Johnson City, Tennessee. Pretty good, I think.
Okay. And
the rating is a 1.9, so up from last week. I forget what it was, but I know it's up. I think it might be like 0.3. It was like 1.6 last week or 1.5 or something. I know it's up from last week, but yeah. And just, I guess, to preface this, before we really get into it's up, but for some reason, Raw once again was aired on a Thursday. So this technically isn't head to head, but it is for purposes of the podcast and just in general. So the ratings for Nitro may have been up because of that. Obviously, we don't know. That's but Raw wasn't head to head. They were aired Thursday later this week. So Nitro was Monday, Raw was Thursday.
Yes, and just a reminder, we are coming off on the Nitro side, the WCW side, just coming off Fall Brawl War Games, and this is the night after.
Yep.
And the show opens up, and no Tony Schiavone, unfortunately. So we are back to Eric, Mongo, and Bobby Heenan.
And Mongo has Pepe the Chihuahua, which I don't even
Yes, he has a little Chihuahua with him here.
But he has a sombrero on or something, too.
And I love immediately Eric does the intro. He's like, I'm Eric Bischoff. He's Bobby Heenan. Michael, and there's Pepe. And Bobby just shakes his head immediately. Like, why is there a dog here?
He's like, dude, you could already tell, like, to me, this is coming off as, like, you can already tell Bish is kind of letting the inmates run the asylum already.
That's the first sign, Mongo's dog.
There's no way Bischoff was like, yeah, bring your dog. Like, Mongo's if he like, oh, is it cool if I bring my dog? And he's like, sure, dude, I'm paying you this amount of money. You might as well. I'm not going to make you mad. So yeah, he has his dog Pepe.
Probably.
But yeah.
So the show opens up, the actual show. They kick it to an ambulance in the back. And it's backing up. And out jumps the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan. And the Giant. The Giant cuts a promo on Hogan. And uses the words, my father.
Yep.
Speaking of Andre. So it's not just a general push. It was a specific push that he is the son of Andre the Giant at this point.
Yeah.
I'm actually interested because I don't know the answer to this. I'm actually interested to see where they just completely drop that.
Yeah, I didn't, because honestly, I think in the Big Show career, even, like if you go to watch his documentary on Network or something, I don't even think, I think I watched like once maybe. They don't even really mention the whole him being billed as Andre's kid thing. Like, it's weird that it just kind of didn't become I understand why. I don't think it should have ever been a thing, but it does just kind of like stop probably at some point and is never mentioned again, I would think.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to see, like, does it really carry on to when he's in the NWO? Because to me, I feel like at that point there's no way. But and also, just while we're on this, they were kind of building it like Hogan was going to be in the ambulance. So I think the announcers were excited, like, oh my god, like Hogan's in the ambulance, maybe he's okay or whatever. Because if you guys watched our Fall Brawl review or listened to our Fall Brawl review, he's got his neck. The show ended with Giant essentially snapping Hogan's neck, and he was like kind of doing like fake little seizures in the ring, and that's how the show ended. So I think they thought it was going to be Hogan. And not to get too much of a tangent here, Hollywood Havoc's coming up in October, and if I'm not mistaken, it's the Hollywood Havoc where they do the monster trucks on top of a building. So that'll be super interesting.
Can't wait. Yeah, so here's the thing. They did sell it like that. Like, could it be Hulk Hogan? And I was thinking to myself, this is 24 hours later.
Yeah.
Why would Hogan be rolling in with a broken neck or whatever in the ambulance still? But that's the way they sold it, but it was the heels that popped out.
Right.
So from there, okay, so Raw started with the match, correct?
Yeah, so you do the
So I'll do the Nitro match.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so before we get into this, well, I'll read it and then we'll discuss. The American males.
Right.
Scotty Riggs, Buff Bagwell.
Marcus at this time. Marcus,
excuse me. Marcus Bagwell.
He didn't become buff quite yet. He wasn't that cocky yet. Because he was big babyface here.
Yes. Versus the Blue Bloods, Lord Steven Regal, And Earl of Eaton, which, by the way, I didn't realize that he was the second member of the Blue Bloods. It is Bobby Eaton from the Midnight Express. I was like,
dude, something about him was familiar, but I didn't know it was because he looks entirely different and out of place. So
yeah,
that's why
I think
I
it was
like,
the pulled back hair with the ribbon or whatever was in it.
Yeah.
I was like, could that be? Could that really be? Are they saying Earl of Eaton as in Bobby Eaton? And of course, I googled it, and there it was.
Because Trips was in. He was the first Blue Blood with Regal, and then I guess because this is late '95, he probably left a couple months earlier, and they probably threw Eaton in there. I would assume, right?
Yeah, I believe. I think Trips in WWF right now.
I'm assuming he's probably in between contracts. We haven't heard anything. I'm sure because we haven't seen him yet, but I'm assuming he's about to start. I would expect in the next month or two we're going to start getting vignettes. That's what I would expect. But yeah, we haven't actually seen him yet.
All right, that's fair. So anyway, we have Eaton make his end. He came out first, and this was odd. He was jumped as soon as he came out by Harlem Heat, who are the new WCW Tag Team Champions. And at this point, they take out Eaton. We don't see Regal. And Heenan does the cover and says, they must have taken out Steven Regal in the back because we don't see him.
Yep.
And Harlem Heat heads down to the ring. And interestingly enough, they want the American males.
And they don't just want the American males. They are like, dude, we're going to put the titles on the line. Basically, they were coming down the ramp and they were saying without a mic, like, we're the tag team champs. Like, put us in the match. Like, we're supposed to be the ones wrestling on the show. This is our show, basically, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
So they just insert themselves, basically.
I thought that's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're trying to show Harlem Heat's, they're going to fight. They're going to be fighting champions, I guess.
But here's also the problem with just this booking in general. So you were just on an angle in the back, right? Like, so this is right after coming from the back. Steven Regal's allegedly just got jumped in the back. Why couldn't they, number one, show it, or why would, or why not just have him get jumped on the ramp? Like, why would he just not show up in general? I think from, like, a producer, like, if I was a producer perspective, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, I feel like you gotta at least show that, especially if you were just backstage shooting an angle, because that, to me, that just doesn't make a lot of sense. But
yeah, I agree. Benefit of the doubt. Who knows if he was even in the building that night?
Literally, he might not have been, and that was their call,
but yeah, you're right. From a production standpoint, definitely just have them both go out and get jumped, whatever. So as they're going back and forth, and of course, again, we've covered the fact that there's no GM up until this point. So Nick Bockwinkel makes the match, or I'm sorry, not Nick. Nick Patrick makes the match.
Yes,
but they mention,
because hashtag it, guys. Hashtag Nick Patrick is God.
Yes,
once again.
So they mentioned Commissioner Nick Bockwinkel. What will he think of this? So that's pretty interesting because, of course, Vince being Vince over on Raw, I knew that Gorilla at this time, Gorilla Monsoon, was President Gorilla Monsoon.
Yep.
I didn't know WCW had any commissioner whatsoever.
I know that they do during it. I guess they had to once NWO stuff started, because you needed a guy calling the shots for WCW against the opposing organization. But yeah, I didn't know that I knew at some point he was, just from old footage I've seen, but I didn't know it was during this point in time.
Okay. So at this point, I'm thinking, okay, this is a weird start to the show. However, the match starts. And the first thing I want to say is Scotty Riggs. Dude, there's some talent in WCW at this time. So last week we were all over Miro, Johnny B. Bad. This week I'm going to be all over Scotty Riggs because, dude, his timing with everything. Like, there were spots where I noticed that Harlem Heat looked really stiff. Yeah. But if you watch the match from Riggs's perspective, his timing is so perfect. I don't even think Harlem Heat was touching him.
No.
And kudos to Scotty Riggs, man, because this was I was very impressed with his work.
And watching this too, I was looking at him and I'm like, dude, he's got a look too. Like, he's a good looking dude. He literally reminds me of like a darker haired Shawn Michaels had he been pushed that way. Like I think I'm not saying he could have, like, obviously who knows, that's a lot of what ifs. But like give him like a little US title run or something, cuz I think eventually what happened is, I don't know if he got hurt or what, but I know he ended up being in Raven's flock and shit like later when Raven came along. As just Riggs. But yeah, dude, he looked good. I even thought Bagwell looked good for as much crap as he ends up getting later down the line. Like I thought they were a viable, cool tag team that I could get behind.
Definitely. Yeah, and the match basically was laid out. Scotty Riggs took the he worked from underneath. He was taking the beating, and then Bagwell got the hot tag at the end.
Yeah.
And this was a very good match. I thought it was basically laid out how you want to lay out matches. It wasn't too long either.
I really liked the finish. I thought so. Basically, I think Patrick was distracted, and there's like this back kick by Stevie Ray. And Booker, like, so basically Harlem Heat regains control after they're really in control, and like it was supposed to be like booked like this. It was booked very well, where to the point where, so like Stevie hits like a back kick when someone's not looking because he's the illegal man, and Booker does the scissor kick, which I always love. He does his like signature scissor kick, and dude, he does like the way he kicks people. He does like, I love that when he sends him into the ropes and then he hits the ropes. He does like his crazy jumping mule kick stuff, dude. Yes. He kills people. It looks like.
Yeah, I know.
But like you said, it could have been the selling by the males too. But dude, I love Booker, like because he's so tall and he can really get his legs up there and stuff. And like if you really look at it back then, his offense is definitely pretty unique for like a bigger dude. But yeah, so there's a sunset flip spot where Booker tags out on the way down, which I thought was cool. They flash to a "We Want It Raw" sign, which I just...
Yes, I have that noted.
It's kind of funny. And then drop kicks. So there's some drop kicks, and Harlem Heat's really in control. And who comes down to the ring, Hollywood? Go for it.
The Colonel comes out.
The Colonel.
And Heenan made mention that he was bitten by the love bug last night.
Yeah, I wrote that down too. So he shows up because Sherry once again is at ringside. I don't know if we mentioned that, but yeah, she's wherever Harlem Heat goes right now, she goes.
That's right.
Except for when Colonel Parker shows up. So he shows up and he takes her away like a damsel in distress. Like she's on the apron and he gets her, and her attention's. So basically, the spot was he comes down as Sherry's about to hit. I don't know I forget if it was Riggs or if it was Bagwell with a heel, basically for the win. The ref was completely distracted. It was about to be Sherry, heel to the head, pinfall. Sherry gets taken away because she gets distracted by Parker, gets taken away, held in Parker's arms. He walks her up the ramp, and the American males roll up Booker because Sherry didn't use the heel, and we have new tag champs, which I was very surprised about.
This was shocking. And the way that they did this I think was genius. And I think this is like Pat Patterson next level storytelling, because like for as weird as the beginning was,
yeah,
there's Sherry on the apron and she's going to cheat like she always does. And the Colonel comes out. Now, if he is bitten by the love bug, which we think he is,
right,
he would go out and grab her off and walk off into the sunset with his woman. He said at War Games, "My heart is soaring. I need that woman."
Yep, that literal quote.
So that makes sense from like, the character standpoint, right? That's what he's going to do. But then I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Is this all accidental because of the love bug? Or is the Colonel the manipulator and not Sherry? Or is Sherry the manipulator and he's actually love? Or are they both the manipulator?
I think that, like you said, it's genius because they're really making it seem like there's so many questions right now about the whole thing. Like, dude, it shouldn't be this great angle, but like it's becoming great angle. And dude, oh my god, the way that they did this, I thought, like you said, was genius, because yesterday they proved that Harlem Heat needs Sherry to win, even though she was bitten by the love bug.
Yep.
But this time they lose because of her, so it's like it's bringing back like the fact that like Sherry's important to Harlem Heat, but she's screwing him over right now. But Robert Parker might be pulling the strings, and it's so dynamic, dude.
Yep, 100%. I was really impressed by this, and I was, I eat this stuff up, man. This cheesy kind of, characters with fall in love, or are they, or aren't they? I love this stuff.
Yeah, dude, this is just, dude, I don't get it, bro. This is like, we shouldn't be this invested in this, but this is the most
right
thing
I
I'm
feel like
in.
we shouldn't be focusing on this so much, but we are. But the shocker of it all, 24 hours later, after having new champions, Harlem Heat, American males are now new champions.
Yeah. And I think that had this not been a good storyline, even the match I thought was good, like it had it been a BS segment, I think I'd be salty about the fact that the titles changed hands less than like 24 hours ago. Mm-hmm. But because the story, I think it adds to the storyline, like I think it's very okay with me, that because it's really adding to everything that's going on, you know?
You bring up a good point, and this is lost in modern wrestling because again, cool truth, AEW Dynamite reviews every Wednesday night. Go check us out. But we talk about this all the time. Here, this is an example of the story taking precedent over the championships or the belts or whatever that's going on. They'll figure it out. They'll do that. Obviously, the story is more important because Sherry now costing them after winning the belts for them the night before. Mm-hmm. That just adds another wrinkle to the story.
And to me, it doesn't. It's not shitting on anybody in the ring. It's because Harlem Heat. It's not like they couldn't have won. It's the fact that they wanted to use their manager because it was the safer bet. It's not like oh my god, they're going to lose without her entirely. It's not like that. Like they don't need her technically. It's the fact that they're trusting her and then breaking the trust. That's what it is. And this is another thing. Like not to go on a huge tangent because I'm sure you like, especially you and I could talk about this for hours and hours. I know. Because just for all you listeners, we've always like our dream is to like win the lottery and write storylines in pro wrestling,
100%. Yeah.
But this is the thing, like as much as Russo got shit on, like because of his short title reigns or whatever, he always did what was best for the story too. It's like why whoever booked this, that why didn't they get shit on? You know what I mean? Like I'm sure they did, but like this is good stuff to me. So I'm really loving this entire angle they're running with the Colonel and Sherry. And I really hope we didn't join too late as far as like into the war. I hope we get this for another month or two. You know what I mean? But
exactly. Yeah.
But doesn't it feel like they're coming to like a boiling point here soon? Like there's gonna be something big that happens. And honestly, I'm kind of hoping it's Sherry mass manipulating everybody. But
I'm kind of hoping that too. But we'll see where it goes.
But yeah, I thought all in all, good match, great segment, and I think definitely watchable television.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. So at this point, I'm thinking, all right, Nitro is off to a really hot start.
Yep. So over to Raw, they ran the same venue. This is on 9/21, 3 days later on a Thursday. Ran the same venue as last time Hollywood mentioned to me, and he was right.
Yeah. So here's why I noticed. And I didn't bring it up last Raw, the last show we did, the Raw Nitro. But I noticed that on the right side of the screen, maybe like 10 rows back from the front, it's so funny. There's this goth chick. Did you notice her? Like, she sits there the whole time and looks at the ring and doesn't move. She doesn't blink. She doesn't cock her head, nothing. It's just like this straight ghost face in the middle of the crowd. And I'm thinking to myself, she's got to be there for Taker, right?
Yeah.
But I noticed her last week and didn't say anything because I thought, whatever. But there she was again, and I thought to myself, she's still not moving.
Yeah.
How long has she been there and she hasn't moved yet? So like it was distracting me as I was watching.
She's probably way too bored. And actually, they like later in the show at the very end, they say Taker's wrestling next week. So I won't be surprised if it's the same venue actually, because it's only 3 hours. But so yeah, same venue as last week. Rating this week. Now I don't want to count this as a victory because they didn't go head to head, but they got a 2.5, which I was like, damn. I mean, I know they're on Thursday, dude. Mm-hmm. So, like, obviously there's not as much TV on Thursday as Monday. This is September. Monday Night Football is probably on. I don't know. Who knows, right? But, yeah, 2.5, dude. 0.6 victory for them. But, once again, wasn't head-to-head. So, no one had to pick this year. Or this.
Right.
So, the show opens, and they just hype everything that happened at last week's Raw. Basically, the Kid Razor segment is the main focus. You guys check out our second episode for the breakdown on that. But so we open with a match, Razor versus 1-2-3 Kid. Kid comes out first, gets in the ring, blah blah blah. Razor, I thought, came out to a gigantic pop. Like he's still, even especially dude, if like they this is the same venue and probably in the same night, right? So like they saw him already, and he still came out to a big pop. But yeah, so as Razor's getting into the ring, Kid jumps him, and then he jumps into Razor's arms. I love the chemistry these two have, like just because you can tell, like they're obviously like best friends in real life, but because Razor's so big and Kid's so small, they do a lot of really cool stuff, I think, and I think like they just know how to go in there and work that dynamic. I think.
Yes.
So Kid jumps into Razor's arms, and Razor sets him up for a top rope fall-away slam into a near fall. Razor's throwing around the Kid. One of the kids just kind of bumping his ass off for Razor, and Vince is being insane once again, dude. He doesn't take a breath. I don't understand how he does it. Like,
it's crazy. It is so crazy.
Like he doesn't even just call the match. Like he calls whatever happens in the match, and then he'll be like, "Oh, don't forget later tonight." Like he'll do anything to not have silence.
Yep.
Basically. So Razor reverses some chain wrestling into like a choke slam. Razor goes over the top rope onto the ground, and there's like this diving drop kick from Kid, but it looked kind of bad because I don't know if it was meant to be a crossbody, but it's just like weird that he would do like a drop kick to him, like over the apron. Was what it was. Spinning heel kick, which I always love. I love a spinning heel kick into a near fall, and then there's a super long sleeper as we go to commercial. So Kid's got Razor in a sleeper hold. They come back. Razor's threw Kid around. He reversed it because he reversed it in a reversal slam. And then you get the collision ref bump, and as soon as I saw this, I knew it was going to happen. So they ref bumps. All three of them come off the ropes into a collision. And just like last week, or if you were there at the venue just like an hour ago, Dean Douglas runs in, and he hits a shitty crossbody to Razor's back while the ref bumped outside the ring. And dude, Razor's laying there for like a minute maybe. And this is like a weak crossbody to the back. Like it's nothing.
It was kind of more of like a splash, like a top rope splash.
Yeah, it wasn't Razor was downed and he hit it was just, I mean, it's nothing. Like if you saw it today, you'd be like, did that even do anything? So it's like one of those. So he hits that, and Razor's on the ground for like a minute. Kid crawls into the ring, dude, and wins just like that. But dude, it took them forever to get back in the ring. And I was just like, would this really do that much damage to Razor? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know why he couldn't.
I
don't know what's up with Dean Douglas coming off the top all the time, but can't he just run in? Because the ref's down. Just run in. Razor's already groggy. Do your finisher, and then leave. You know what I mean? Like that makes everyone look better. Everybody involved. Because
I'm assuming that, like, I'm guessing that's his finisher.
But it's so. It was what it was. Because like I guess I would have. I don't know why else Razor would sell it that bad. But yeah, so once again, dude, I thought great work by Kid and Razor, but damaged by the finish, I thought.
Yep. So the main thing that stuck out in this match, like as far as work goes, is, and we're keeping an eye on this on WCW with Johnny B. Bad, Pillman. Kid, dude, he is so fast and smooth.
Yep.
This is the change that I was waiting to see now on the WWF side. Like when he Irish whips, he's like so fast, dude.
Yeah,
he gets back and forth like before you blink an eye.
It sucks almost in a way. Like it's cool that he was working with the guys in WWF, but it does kind of suck he wasn't there. I know he'd eventually went to WCW, but that wasn't like if he was. I feel like I don't know if he could work with Pillman and Johnny Bad, some of those other guys, he could have put on more classics because everyone's big up in New York, right? Like he doesn't get a chance to go out there and shine with someone else because he always has to be the guy selling and losing. Or
right.
If he wins, no one believes that he would win clean because he's 5'8",
kid,
right? So,
right.
And I know that makes his gimmick, but at the same time, I think it hinders him in a way. But I'm watching that match, dude, and I'm like, this is like, I get the whole click thing. Like these guys are great in-ring workers, but once again, the thing that brings them down is like the shitty DQ. Like you if you look at this match going head to head with Nitro, right? It's like ended in similar ways, but Nitro was so much better because of the storyline.
Right.
And the way that it was done. Like, that's poetry, dude. This is just garbage, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know how you felt.
This is just Douglas. It's an excuse to get Douglas more heat on Razor going into the pay-per-view. That's all it is.
And it's just,
it was weak.
But so, I mean, it was a good match. The finish was just bad, and that hinders it entirely for me. So,
and Vince mentioned at the end too that Kid is now beating Razor, DiBiase, and Razor. So he's getting pushed, even though like he's winning these matches, even though he's getting help.
Yeah. But I mean, so I mean, I guess you are starting to see a kid push.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like Shane Douglas in ECW. So, and the Dean I think has potential to be a cool character.
Mm-hmm.
But he's kind of coming off as corny right now. But yeah, so should I do the report card?
Yeah,
first?
go.
Yeah, like I guess it's the same segment.
Yep.
So they go to Dean Douglas's the report card, which is basically his like highlight reel if you're Jericho. It's like his little. It's just what they call it. It's what they call his promos. He goes, let's get started with the lesson 101. 1, 2, 3 kid gets a D. D for dumb. And he said, which I actually laughed at. It was pretty good.
This was good, by the way, too. Like he was a pretty good talker.
Yeah, I always thought he was. Like, but like once again, like I don't know, his gimmick's too corny. Like I like the idea of him being like, oh, like frat boy, I'm the dean, whatever. But they could have made it not as corny, if that makes sense.
Well, this is the transition again. Like you see that hot wrestling match that we saw with Pillman and Johnny B. Bad, and they're wrestling, and it's like a good wrestling match. And then you have Dean, which is like he's good, but this is like an '80s gimmick.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he would have been super over in the '80s. By the way, it's just
definitely.
Vince is just
this is like 10 years too late. Like he'd have been great in the Intercontinental division in the '80s.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, so he basically lays out. He writes. It was kind of funny because you don't expect it. He said, "I defeated Razor, not you." He writes E, which means for elevate, which is why you're trying to wrestle me because I'm going to elevate you or something. He put A for conclusion, and he puts like an exclamation point, and then he puts N. He said Razor is going to lose in a no-brainer at In Your House. So he spells out Dean on the chalkboard, and he circles it. D for dumb, E for elevate, A for just an exclamation point, and N for a no-brainer, which I thought was good. It was a good segment, a good little segment. It's just corny, that's all.
Yep, and the funniest part of the character, as they're fading away from him back to the ring, he rates his nails on the chalkboard.
Yeah.
As he's going down, he's laughing.
And Vince
just to be an annoying heel.
Vince goes, oh, I hate that. But yeah, I like his character, even as corny as it is. I think it's got potential.
Right, yeah. I just think they're a little bit late on it.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
So back over the Nitro. We have Mean Gene in the ring, and the Nature Boy Ric Flair comes out and cuts a promo. And basically, he's talking about what happened the previous night. Pillman jumped him in the match, so this storyline is continuing, obviously. And I believe he told him and Arn that he's going to find them tonight.
Yep.
So once again, coming off the hot match with the angle of the Love Bug, we'll call it. We got the promo carrying storylines from the pay-per-view again. So again, and this was a classic, Flair promo.
Yeah, I mean, he said, I have a couple quotes. He's just, the enforcer broke the code. An outsider in the forgotten land, because he's talking about the Horsemen. Mm-hmm. He said we were going to settle it within the family, but you brought an outsider into the ball game. Woo! And he hits the ropes. And he goes, bad idea. And he does he said double A, he hits the ropes again. Right here in Johnson City. He said, I'm going to find you and kick your ass. And he woos and he keeps hitting. He does like his Flair stuff where he's like bumping in the ring. But dude, I mark out for that stuff. He's the best with that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But just classic Flair, dude. It's just like, and once again, like as good as Dean Douglas's promo was, it's like, what are you going to watch?
Exactly.
It's like, are you going to watch this Flair promo? As much as it, once again, is like formulaic. It's the story. Dude, this storyline's great too. This is another one they're knocking out of the park. This whole Flair Arn thing.
Yep.
I just really there's a lot of exciting things going on.
Yep. And the show opened with the giant Hogan storyline. So
yep. And that's the thing.
It's pretty hot show.
That's the thing too. It's like the Dean Razor storyline has zero heat. It seems like everything they do it just doesn't feel important compared to all three of these. You know,
right?
Just in the presentation, maybe, but yeah.
So here's where the show gets interesting. I'll go to the next match on Nitro.
Yeah.
Mr. Wonderful comes out for a match with his new theme.
Dude, I love
it. Dude, this song is great. I'm Mr. Wonderful. Fantastic. So this is coming off the push with the psychic, and I am Mr. Wonderful.
Yes.
And
best
he's wrestling Johnny B. Bad.
Yep.
And here's the thing. The night before, Johnny B. Bad beat Pillman in an epic match to become the number one contender of Sting's title.
Yes.
He wrestles Wonderful. I thought it was okay. Wonderful obviously can't keep up with Johnny B. Bad like Pillman.
Right. And here's the thing, too. So if you guys remember when we were doing our Fall Brawl thing, we mentioned that Bad got his face busted open. And we were like, oh, that's got to be an accident. So they mentioned he has 9 stitches in his right eye, or his left eye. So I don't know if that hindered the match and they couldn't do a lot of stuff. But yeah, you're right. This match was just like it goes to show. I guess I hate to say it because like I'm enjoying this Mr. Wonderful thing that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not Brian Pillman, obviously. And this match was
it's like what you would expect from Mr. Wonderful in 1995. Like
yeah, it is what it is. There's a Paula chant. Did you hear this? Because his name's Paul Orndorff.
No, I didn't catch that.
The crowd's chanting Paula. Like, the crowd actually hated him, dude. I was surprised. I was surprised at how much, like, heat he was getting.
I didn't catch that.
But yeah, dude, Johnny B. Bad got, like, no offense, I felt like. I really thought that Orndorff was just kicking his butt. Johnny B. Bad came back, and Wonderful just kind of, like, sat on Johnny B. Bad, and he just won, like, out of nowhere. It was weird, dude. Like, the fans were even, like, there was, like, it wasn't one of those, like, he wins and it's like shocking to the point where you're like, oh my god, what just happened? It was like shocking because it was a weird finish, sort of, and the fans are literally just sitting there like no one's really making a noise. It was that weird because it was like because this contributed to it for sure. It was a scuffed count by Patrick because he does he cocks his arm back weird that we talk about. And if he messes, like you said this the first episode, I think we did. Like if he messes his flow up, dude, it's bad. And he did that again. So the crowd, he kind of basically counted 4.
It's a giveaway. You can see what's going to happen.
Yeah. So I literally put scuffed count by Patrick. Like he sucks because this is what the stuff that he does. That's like, oh man. And it just added to the weirdness of the match. I think it was kind of almost like the Montreal Screwjob where the fans like, what just happened? Because it was like they didn't know.
Yeah, so it was kind of like almost like a roll up, I guess you could say, but Wonderful sat down on it, and then Johnny B. Bad was pinned, and that's the weirdest thing because now I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, are they going to address this, the number one contender to Sting, or does Wonderful get it now? They didn't say anything.
This is one of the things, bro. Is like as entertaining as they're being, they're still like, why does he have to wrestle Johnny B. Bad? Why can't you put him out against a jobber, even?
Right.
Because all you have to do is book him for momentum right now. If it's Johnny B. Bad, he doesn't need the win over Johnny B. Bad, basically. He can take it over anyone.
We saw Alex Wright last week. We could have just plopped him in here.
Yeah, exactly. And it would have done the same thing.
Yep.
And it wouldn't have killed Johnny B. Bad's momentum. And
I like it for Wonderful, but I hate it for Johnny.
Because I was really behind Johnny.
Yep.
But yeah, what did you think? I mean, it was kind of a bad match, I thought. It was just whatever. Throwaway TV match, I thought.
Well, like you said last week, he's, 13 years past Mania 1?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there were a lot of, I'm going for the pile driver. Oh, no, you're not. Back and forth, like teetering moves like that. But, of course, he's limited at this point. So
yeah. So I guess over to Raw then, right? Well,
yes,
I mean, I don't know. Do you have the Baywatch thing on your sheet?
Yeah, I do. That'll be next.
We'll get to that then. I just want to make sure. All right, so we got match 2. So this is going head to head against Wonderful and Johnny B. Bad, and this is one of those things where you're like, okay, as like weird as this match was, if you look over here, it's not better.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to Raw, and second match is Savio Vega, who I actually always liked, and like I've heard good things about and stuff. and Bob Holly, Sparkplug Bob Holly, not
Yes,
Holly,
he is Sparkplug right now.
Versus Tatanka and Kama. Kama, aka the future Godfather, would eventually join the Nation. Did he join the Nation as Kama? I think he did.
I think he did. I think that was his name in the Nation.
Right. So, and also, the $1 Million Man is managing Tatanka and Kama, and they actually come out to a song. So,
yes,
which I thought was interesting. But
speaking of well past their prime, Tatanka looks
God.
Jeez, he's got dad. He's still in shape, but like he's got dad bod.
Yes. Well, I mean, also the steroid. Well, actually, that's not true because I guess when he's coming up, it was after the steroid thing too. But yeah, he doesn't look it like he normally does.
Right.
And Kama wrestled like he had lead in his ass, I thought too. But like we'll get to the finish. But so basically Savio's giving it to both Kama and Tatanka. So the crowd like loves it, but at times I thought it was piped in. I don't know. There's another spot I'll get to in the last match of the show. But the crowd seems to be way too hot for this match. And it doesn't seem like it's genuine at parts.
I noticed it too. It definitely sounds like this is a hot match, but it's not. And
it's not.
And it's obvious because like you hear it and what you're seeing doesn't match at all. Like
exactly. So they must have added that in post, I think. Dude, horrific arm drags Bob Holly to Kama. Just look awful. He can't get him up for it. Kama can't bump it. The best thing to happen to him he must have been green at this time too, probably. I mean, he's coming off Papa Shango. So it's just a lots of punching and hitting the ropes and whatnot. Tatanka gets the focus of the ref to focus on him and Holly. So Kama gets Vega and they start double teaming him because the ref's distracted. It's basically Kama and Tatanka getting Savio. And for some reason, dude, the ref's only worried about Bob Holly. He doesn't even care what's happening in the ring. He's paying attention to him for an abnormal amount of time. Like he's not the legal man. Who cares what's happening on the outside? You pay attention to what's in the ring, unless there's a manager trying to get involved with what's in the inside, right? If two people are brawling on the outside and they're not the legal men, like it doesn't really matter because they don't affect the match. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because they're not legal. Like you have to pay attention to what's in the ring, and this was going on throughout the whole thing. There's a who got who spot between Savio and Tatanka. Bob Holly takes the momentum back and hits a missile drop kick, and then he goes back up the ref's distracted, or I don't know, dude. It was scuffed on the outside, but Bob Holly goes for a flying crossbody, and the camera work you could tell was post production because they were trying to hide it. I think a little bit.
Oh god, this was
bad, dude. This
was scary bad.
Yes, I was like I had to rewind it a bunch of times. So he goes for like basically a steamboat crossbody, and Kama tries to catch him and power slam him, but he's falling backwards as he's trying to catch him. So he's falling backwards, barely gets him over, basically spikes Holly's head in the mat.
Yep.
Like I thought he broke his neck. Like it was bad, dude. It was really bad. And they showed the replay then, which I was surprised about. But he gets the win after this, and he barely got him.
He barely rotated him in time.
It was bad, dude. I thought Bob Holly was dead at first. And I know Bob Holly had a history of neck injuries and stuff, so I thought, is this when he first had an injury?
Yeah, this was probably one of them.
Yeah, it was not good, and I don't know if it's because Kama is green here or what, but it was just a bad spot. He couldn't get him over, and he almost killed Bob Holly on this night. Like it was bad.
Yep.
But yeah,
I don't really have anything else to add to this. It was just like,
in a way, as bad as this sounds, the botch kind of saved the match because it was the only thing interesting that happened in the entire match.
Yep.
It was scary, but it was the only thing interesting that happened. So
that's true.
True. You can pick your poison: Wonderful versus Johnny B. Bad, or Savio, Vega and Holly versus Tatanka and Kama. I don't. It was bad. This match was bad. So.
Yeah, I think the only other interesting thing I'll throw in is, being a kid of the 80s, liking Tatanka, and then seeing him here. Like, obviously they repackaged him to a point because he looked exactly like he used to, except all his gear was black.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, if they turned him heel, cool. Obviously they did. But, like, how did they do it? And how did he get with DiBiase? Of course, we didn't see all that. But, like, it could have been cool. Mm-hmm. But, like,
But, like, once again, they don't know. Vince is just throwing people together, I think.
Yeah,
Tatanka and Kama are two completely, like, there should never be a tag team, and $1 Million Man should not be buying their dude.
Their contracts or whatever.
It's and like Savio and Bob Holly shouldn't even. This shouldn't be a tag team match. It should be Savio against whoever you're trying to push to Talking Comic. There's no reason to put all.
Yeah, this is like typical McMahon stuff. Like
this is like a house show. This is a house show match.
Yeah, exactly.
See what people can do. It's not. It shouldn't be on TV. So yeah, that's that match. I guess over to.
Which is weird, by the way, because didn't they mention Savio has a match with Waylon Mercy at the pay-per-view?
Yeah, he's like actually feuding with someone right now.
Yeah, and no he's one thrown into this match, and he didn't take the pin, but his team lost.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid. Just have Bob Holly against one of them and have him lose if you're gonna do that. It's like
such good shit, pal.
It's so. Oh man, it just makes you wonder how lucky Vince is to have his company. Having his company's network purchased for $1 billion in 2021.
It's unbelievable,
dude. Right now, it's like I can't believe he survived the mid 90s.
Yeah, it sure looks it.
All right, so over to Nitro, I guess, Brisky.
Okay, so we're on the beach, and we see a few girls, and we see Randy Macho Man Savage.
Ooh, yeah,
doing some bench presses.
Yeah.
And whoever's spotting for him, I don't know who it was. He's like, "Come on, Randy, come on, yeah, one more." And Macho's straight. See, you think he's struggling, but he's not struggling. He puts that shit right up.
Throwing the weight up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, throwing it up. And then from out of nowhere, the Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan runs in, and as Randy's got the bar down, he's pushing it up. Sullivan pushes it back down, and he jumps on him. We get an attack from Sullivan on Macho. And then the Nature Boy Ric Flair in his skimpy, what were they? Were they teal?
It was like pinky.
Or were they pink? Yeah, they were.
I don't know. It was classic Nate bathing suit.
Classic Nate on the beach.
Yep.
Ran off Sullivan and tended to Macho Man.
Even though like the punches and stuff in this angle looked abysmal, it was hilarious. Maybe it's just because we love Macho and Flair, but like it's so good. And like the way Sullivan was like basically choking him out with the.
Yes.
With it was this lasted what, like 45 seconds maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
But the point was of it was because they were in Miami, and I guess that they met up with did like a publicity thing with the Baywatch actors. Mm-hmm. So they were just kind of saying like, "Oh, we're cool. We hang out with Baywatch." Like Bischoff was just like, "Oh, look at Macho Man hanging out with the Baywatch crew, the hottest TV and show." Right.
So, right.
Yeah. So it doesn't really because right now that doesn't really make a difference within the show itself. It's just a little fun promo that they've shot up there.
Exactly.
So yeah.
But yeah, back over to Raw.
So pretty much this was a backstage Razor promo, and this is what you were talking about the changing of the tides and stuff. So there's little subtle things that Razor and Nash and Shawn are kind of doing in their promos, and Razor, because Vince says we're gonna shoot to Razor right now, like backstage with the bad guy, and he goes, I got some comments for you, Booker Man. So he calls him Booker Man, like he acknowledges the fact that he's the Booker.
Yes, yep.
Which I thought was interesting, and he just basically says that he's gonna carve Dean Douglas up. It's like a 2-minute promo, nothing crazy. Talks about how he's gonna beat Douglas at In Your House, and how he's not to mess with the bad guy, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, and then there's basically this video of, I guess they're doing a Mania replay on.
Yeah, this was interesting
on TV in late September. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. They're like airing it on USA Network or something for free. Mm-hmm. Which I didn't even know they used to do, but I thought.
No, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, so that's basically those two things.
I guess they're so the Click's starting to do this. We see it in the promos. I wonder if Vince chewed them out afterwards, or did they make it a contest amongst themselves? Like, let's see who can get yelled at. Because for him to say Booker Man,
I
gotta think after the show, McMahon was probably like, "Come on, pal."
Like, was it necessary?
No, it's just Razor flexing, right?
Yeah, it's just Razor being like, I can be cool on TV and get away with it, because there's no reason for him to call him Booker Man. It's not even relevant. I mean, it still wasn't known until '97. Vince was running the show, right? Like, until it's Screwjob, really, and after that, like people didn't really. The casual fan definitely did not know Vince was running the show.
Well, we did. Like, where are we at? 90? Yeah. Most people did by now, but it was just like he kept up with the gorilla thing,
right?
And that's the thing. Like, I want to see. That's another mental note that I have. When does that change? Like, period, point blank. I'm in charge.
Well, because he calls him, and Booker Man's not just like a, oh, you own the company comment. That's like a wrestling insider term. Like, that's not a normal term. So yeah, that's.
Yeah, I think once you hit a certain age, you come to realize, like, oh my God, Vince is the guy. Mm-hmm. I can't remember when that happened for me, but I definitely knew by now. Like,
okay, right.
So,
but yeah, so that's those two. So I guess we can go back to Nitro now.
Okay, so Mean Gene again. Macho comes out for the big promo.
Oh, yeah.
And this is weird because I thought maybe he was going to address Sullivan, but he didn't really.
He said he mentioned him like once, really.
Well, I shouldn't say he didn't. He did. However,
right. He said that they should cut the head off the snake, but that's all.
Yeah, that's it. How do you cut the? How do you stop a snake? You take its head off.
You cut it,
Yeah, cut the head off. But okay, so we'll leave that there because the meat of the promo was Lex Luger coming out.
Yes.
So he comes out and he's accusing Macho of maybe he's the one that has the personal agenda.
Right.
And I love because he comes out and that's the first thing he says to Macho and he pauses. So he's obviously waiting for Macho to say something. And Macho goes, "Come on, talk to me, brother." So he was basically telling him, "Don't stop.
Like, give it to me." He's like, "What you got to say?"
I love that he did this because it actually, when he did, it brought Luger to dig deeper. And he did, which was really cool. That's just Macho controlling the situation.
Yeah, you could tell that's like veteran Macho just being like, dude, he's so good. Luger basically said he's jealous, right? And Macho is, out of, like, he's just out of his element, kind of. And he goes, you might be jealous because you want the title. And Macho goes, actually, you got a very good point there. He goes, and he mentioned that, you came here to play with the big boys. And he goes, there's no bigger boy than the Macho Man.
Yep. And he also made the comment that you took the cheap shot at me at War Games.
Yeah.
Which you, by the way, so graciously acknowledged during the match, which I didn't. Yeah. So, they did that on purpose. So this is basically like Mean Gene was in the middle of them. They weren't at fisticuffs or anything, but they were getting hot. So, so where do you think this goes? Do you think? I guess the Team USA War Games Hulkamaniac camouflage team. It's no more.
It lasted 24 hours, boys. But they didn't really make a match, but I would assume, right? This is just me using my like pro wrestling brain, and they didn't mention this, but it seems like they might be building to a Luger Macho Man Halloween Havoc match. I don't know if this is going to be like Nitro next week, but to me it seems like that could be because this is the hole I think they got themselves in, and Bischoff is kind of acknowledging, is like he wanted it to be Luger Hogan. But I think because Hogan's still stuck in the giant angle right now, they need someone to be a building block for Luger to get to Hogan eventually. Right. So I'm assuming what they're going to do is maybe this next pay-per-view, it's going to be Hogan and Giant, maybe as like the feud ender. And then they'll do Macho and Luger. And I'm assuming Luger's going to go over there. This is just speculation. And then they'll finally do Luger Hogan. That's where it seems to be going for me.
Right, unless Macho goes Sullivan, or maybe Sullivan gets involved in the Luger match, maybe.
Right, but for me, Macho, like, because it's known that at this time I don't remember if they were on good terms or what, but they at least were best friends, and on screen they're supposed to be really good friends. So it would make sense that this would be the building block, because I could see Hogan being like, brother, like, why'd you mess with the Macho Man kind of thing, right? Like mess with me, so. That's where I think it's going. But Macho is just a star, dude. He's so good.
Oh, he's so damn good. That's when I texted you. I was watching it. Like, yo, Savage was so damn good.
He's always just so on, dude.
Yep.
So yeah, back over to Raw.
Come on, talk to me, brother.
So we get match 3. What's his name? Jean-Pierre Lafitte. Lafitte. Versus Jobber Brian Welsh squash.
Oh,
match.
Brian Welsh, poor guy.
We don't need to talk about the match because it was a squash. What happens during the match is I hate that they do this.
Oh, this annoyed me.
It sucks, dude, because it's not. They don't care about the match. It's blatant. So instead of having Bret Hart cut up and have him and Lafitte cut a promo, they have Bret Hart call in, like actually on the phone. He calls in.
Yeah, where did he call from though?
Brother, no one knows, brother.
On the set of Lonesome Dove. He was filming. Was it a TV show? I guess.
Lonesome I think Dove? he was doing this at this time. He was doing a couple of videos, I think. But so yeah, he calls from there, and Bret's talking about how. Dude, it's funny.
He buried the pirate gimmick, dude.
Yeah, he buried the pirate gimmick, and
which is funny.
Because it's like real life Bret being like, "This isn't wrestling." Like you could see it was coming out. Like,
what did he say about it?
So he started off by talking about like, I take pride in the fact that like I'm a real wrestler, like Canadian wrestler. I take pride in that type shit. Dude, I bet you didn't think I could do a good hitman.
I didn't know that. That was decent.
But yeah, so he takes pride in it, right? And then he goes, "That pirate, like." He sucks, basically. Like, why is he a pirate? He's like, I didn't even know they existed anymore.
Yeah, that's what he's. Yeah, I didn't even know pirates still exist. But
yeah, but it was funny because Bret.
So he's another one shooting. Like they're shooting with their comments.
I love the fact that we got to see this from Bret. Actually, it's deeper than you really think. Because
right.
You can tell he's pissed. Like he's like, our product sucks, dude. I bet like at the time, you know how it was. Like you had Yoko take. You had the BSK and the Click and shit, but everybody hung out with everybody back then, dude. Like Owen's tight with Yoko, Bret's Owen's brother type shit. I bet they watch Nitro at a bar because they're taped. They're all at a bar watching Nitro, and they're like, dude, this is good shit. We're screwed. And this is 3 weeks deep now at this point.
I wouldn't doubt it.
And they're probably like, Vince, we got it. But the thing is if you watch Bret Hart and stuff from, like, talk about promo, he was fed up with this shit since Hogan beat him in '93 at that Mania,
right?
For no reason. Like he was fed up about the product well before '90. This is late '95. That was
that was one of the worst booking mistakes they could have done
ever of all time.
It was like, so stupid.
It might be the worst booking mistake they've ever made, like legitimately. But it like you can tell, dude. Like they're all because as much as Bret is supposed to be anti-Click in real life. That's what made it great. Like during 97, late 96, 97, everybody wanted to be the best. And they all care. It's not like they even as much as they didn't like each other in their little cliques, they all cared about the product. Yep. And like, that's why you can see it coming through on the main guy's characters. So
we should add too, that this storyline is stemming from the fact that Bret did the sunglasses. He would go out for the match, give the sunglasses to the kid. Jean-Pierre at one point stole the glasses from the kid honestly, after his match. So that's why the feud jumped off.
And he has Bret Hart's jacket right now, too. He stole Hart's jacket.
Yes.
So he's like, it's kind of funny because he's a pirate and he's like stealing.
Yes, exactly. He's a pirate. Like, that's funny.
And the last thing, And the last thing I'll add on this is that his finisher, which is amazing because he's like 300 pounds, is a swanton bomb, basically. Off the top rope, and he calls it the cannonball, and it's great. Like he killed Brian Walsh, dude, with it. I was like, I'm not taking that bump in my life. That was awful, but yeah. So that was just a squash match, but they're wrestling it in your house. So and I'm actually interested to see what like PCO can do with Bret Hart back in '95. I think it'll be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think he that finishing move, like he jumped up on the top rope, and he I noticed because Vince said, "Oh, he almost fell" or something like that. But he didn't. Like if you watch him, he walked up. He was like step, 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 and it was just one of those things where he trusted himself enough on one foot to plant the second foot. Like he didn't hesitate. He just planted. Like it dipped from the weight on the rope, and then he planted on the other one, and then just took off. And I was like, "Whoa,
I think
big man!"
I think it's just impressive. The way I think it's just the way he does it. Like I think he's like you said, he's just athletic enough to do that. Like he just knows that that's how he does it.
Yeah, I was impressed. I'm very interested to see how that match goes.
I am too. And then after this match, you just get which I think is cool. They do like a triple header. So basically the main event, and we'll get to this a little bit later. But the main event is, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think it's a cool concept. But they run a highlight reel for it. So Yoko versus Owen in a tag match against Diesel and Shawn. Yoko and Owen are the tag team champs. Shawn is the IC and Diesel is the WWF champ. If Yoko and Owen win, they get their belts. And I guess it's not really clarified. Is Cornette just gonna like assign a belt to one of them? If that happens,
he kind of hit it in the promo post match. Right. I think he said, like the way he explained it, and I know we're jumping ahead, but I think he said if Owen pins pins you, Diesel, then he'll become the champion. Or Yoko could do it. So I think he kind of was like,
whoever gets
I don't even really know what's going to happen.
Right. but I don't know how you feel about this. I think this is a cool concept. It's like everyone's taking the gold. It's not great as far as like two dudes are going to have 4 titles.
Right.
But like it's a cool concept for like a blow-off match, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I'm okay with it.
But yeah, so they just run like a hype reel. So we can go back to Nitro.
Okay. Before they did run the hype reel, though, I think it might have been Kevin Kelly, a young Kevin Kelly. Came out and reinforced the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Did you notice that? Like,
yeah.
He came out and was just tightening the buckles because there's going to be a lot of weight in the ring here in a minute.
Yeah.
But so back to Nitro, we have So yeah, before War Games, they had the free footage on not footage. The pre-show.
It's like WWE pre-show, but it was free.
Right on TV.
On TV, right.
And this was the footage of, and this was funny. So Hogan rolls up on his Harley. And he's doing the big interview, and there's a bunch of kids and girls around him, and they're screaming and hollering, and he's cutting his promo, and then all of a sudden you see this big black monster truck, vroom, vroom, and it was actually shot, like it was edited, like it was an action series or something.
Yeah, like it was Magnum TI or whatever it is.
Yeah. So they show the shot of the truck, and like the crowd just parts like the Red Sea because they don't want to get run over by the truck. And he goes over the Harley, crushes the Harley, and then they show this really corny shot. It's just like they show the truck, they show the bike underneath it, and then there's just this shot edit of this arm hanging out, and Giant puts his head out the window. He's like, oh. so he exactly over it, runs over it again, and then Hogan's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He's banging on the door.
It's great. It was funny.
It was really funny.
I just love the fact that they're building the monster truck thing for no reason. Like, it's great.
Liquor coffee. So, yeah, so this was just, the filler in of the newest wrinkle for the feud for Hogan and Giant.
Yeah, right.
Back over to Raw, I guess. Unless you have anything there.
No, other than it's just funny, but I was just deep in thought about the monster truck because it's so fun. Seriously, you guys should go watch the way Giant laughs. It's so corny.
It's so like evil comic book villain laugh. Like
yeah. So we go to our match 4. So this is the final match of the night, but there's more stuff to the show, obviously. So we got the Men on a Mission, which is King Mabel and Mo. Who is Mo? Is Mo Curtis Hughes, or am I wrong on that? Do you know?
No, I don't think Mo is Curtis Hughes.
Okay. Because he's like bigger, but he's not too big. I don't know. But yeah, so Mo is like, they call him Sir Mo. That's what King says.
Sir Mo, yes.
So they come out and they're still doing the thing where Mabel's being carried by like 4 average Joes to the ring, and I'm just like, oh my god, like I can't imagine, bro. He's like, dude, he's huge. He's
carrying that throne.
Yeah,
must be hard enough, like awkward enough to do it.
Like imagine,
dude, he's like, oh my god, he's so big.
He might he might be bigger than Yoko. Like he's big, dude.
Yeah.
So Men on a Mission, King Mabel and Mo against Yoko and Owen, the tag champs, managed by James E. Cornette. And Yoko, I just want to say, if you guys haven't watched the WWE Icons thing on the network, go check it out. It's about Yoko, and it's basically like an hour-long documentary. And dude, he's huge at this point. Like, it's not 92 Yoko. Like, he's big.
Dude, his thighs are like, that's the thing. Like Mo or King Mabel might be bigger. Mm-hmm. But his thighs, man, are like 3 times the size. Like it's just a fat thigh. Huge dude. And
they said that in the documentary, I guess. Or no, actually, I was listening to Corny talk on one of his podcasts about the documentary. And he said that, so Corny, like, I guess he was taking a bum from Yoko where Yoko did his patented leg drop. And Yoko at this time was so big, like, because he could always move, like, as big as he was, he could always move really well. And Yoko's thighs were so big at the point that when he would run, it would throw him off balance and he would bump wrong. So he basically, like, to this day, I guess Cornette's got a really bad kink in his neck from this bump because Yoko messed up the leg drop and his balance was all off, and he basically destroyed his Cornette's neck. But that's how big his thighs was. Like, he couldn't run without losing his balance, really, or getting off balance, because they were just, I mean, like, think about it. They were just smacking each other, really.
Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah, he's a lot bigger than he was in 92. Like, you can really tell he put on a lot of weight.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I wanted to ask you, because I didn't notice it in the beginning. Of course, I saw Corny. Mm-hmm. But once the match started, I noticed Fuji out there. Was he already out there?
I guess.
Did you notice Fuji?
I didn't notice him until after the promo, actually. Or after the match, like when they did the promo.
Okay.
But they're doing the thing, right, where Fuji's still Yoko's manager, but Cornette's the American interpreter.
Yes.
But, like, Fuji could speak English, I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
And I noticed, too, like, and this is why, you know, I don't love Jim Cornette 100%, but this is why I love Jim Cornette. Like,
right.
He actually matched his suit to Owen's ring gear.
Yeah.
Like, he had the pink and, like, the pastels. Like, you could see, like, it was a match, like Fuji, Yoko, and then him and Owen, like,
and
just perfect.
If you notice anything Cornette does in this match, or when he comes out, the fans legitimately hate him. Like, he's a heat seeker. Like, he is, like, as much as he says controversial things and stuff, still part of me really enjoys him as far as like some of the things he said. Like, he is one of the best, I think, wrestling minds. But he's still over in 95 to the point where fans, like, want to see him get killed.
Oh yeah, it's as soon as he opens his mouth, it's like
yeah. So this match, I will say this about this match: it's Owen bumping his ass off for three bigger guys. Mo's just like average. I will say this though: Mabel and Yoko, as big as they are, and even Yoko in the state, they can really still move. I thought, like it's not like your typical Great Khali who literally can't move. Period. It's like these guys can move, and like I definitely saw where, I mean, Yoko already was a bona fide star at this point. But I could see why Vince was pushing Mabel. Like, obviously he had the shitty gimmick. But I could see why he saw potential in him. So the whole match, really, they're playing into Yoko versus Mabel finally clashing, and it doesn't really happen to the last 3 minutes. But dude, this is where I noticed another one of the piped in issues. And I don't know if you noticed this. So Yoko has Mo in the corner, and he chops him. And I rewinded it like 8 times because I'm like, that's not a natural chop. There's no way. And they like it sounds like a piped in like 2 pieces of plywood smacking together.
Really?
Yeah, you might need to go rewind that, but dude, it doesn't sound like a normal chop. Because the reason why I think it's piped in too is because Vince's like, oh, did you hear that? Like, that's crazy. Like, he was like really putting the chop over type thing.
Okay.
So yeah, Mabel eventually takes the advantage, and the match descends into chaos after a pin breakup by Yoko. Eventually, we do get the Yoko Mabel thing, but they're only in there for like a minute together. They do like a cool jumping clothesline spot to each other. But yeah, so the match really descends into chaos, and then there's a pin breakup by Yoko. Owen gets the pin. Mabel was too slow to break up the pin for Mo. And yeah, Owen and Yoko win. In this match, I don't know, dude. It was what it was. Once again, nothing really to write home about.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of an exhibition for Mabel and Yoko. Like, it was like when they finally got into the ring, the crowd did pop.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about seeing 2 gigantic guys like that go toe to toe. Like, it still works.
And Yoko, dude, even now in late 95, I think he gets sent off for the weight loss thing soon. Or he already was or something. I don't know. But either way, like, he is still, dude, like, it amazes me how he can move in there. He's huge, dude.
Yep.
There's no way he should be able to do the things he does. But I'm just like, he's still one of the guys where like he doesn't get talked enough about it being like, I'm in awe when I see him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not a very good seller though.
No, he doesn't. I don't think
there's not much he can do.
Like. That's why Owen's there. He doesn't
exactly.
But yeah, so it was just, I don't know, it was just a standard match. Yeah, I guess I'll save the Shawn and Diesel. I'll combine the Shawn and Diesel promo and the Cornette promo if we want to go over to Nitro. Or do you want me to do all that and you'll just do Flair, Bryan, and the post-match promo?
Yeah, do that. You can
okay.
Close it out.
So after the match, Shawn and Diesel do a promo. They're going to be champs, basically. That's all they say. And Diesel's being super corny where he just smiles and he's being cheesy. He is like...
by the way, there's a good spot here from the King. Before it all started, McMahon's in the ring with Diesel and Shawn, and he goes... with Owen, Yoko, Corny, and Fuji. And he goes, maybe McMahon will get slammed here.
Yeah, I saw that because Corny's about to talk.
Yes.
So the Diesel Sean promo was corny. I still don't really know why Diesel's being booked as like this cheesy like champ, but is what it is. And then you go to Cornette in the ring with the Squaw, and that's when Jerry says the thing about him being slammed. And this is when I noted the people actually hate Cornette. Like as soon as he touches the mic, the people are losing their minds. He's typing the triple header. Cornette says that they're gonna win. He said, couple weeks ago, you had your fight like a couple of divorcees. He said, look yourself in the mirror and see if you can trust each other. Like, really look at yourselves. And then he said, Yoko and Owen work as a team. You guys work as individuals. And he talked about how Sean is selfish and, like...
Genius.
Which is great. Dude, he, once again, like another stab in the actual shooting a little bit. He talks about how Sean's selfish and does he really care about the team, or is he just going to see that gold belt and want it for himself? And I'm like, dude, the genius of Cornette sometimes. But yeah, like when I saw it, I was like, wow. I'm like, dude, he really knows how to like cut a promo. And he went on for like 6 minutes about this stuff, and I was thoroughly enjoyed, really.
I thought like he actually wrote he completely sold the whole feud in 5 minutes.
He did.
He killed it. Awesome.
This is like the stuff where if you are like, oh, why is Jim Cornette such a, like why is he so, I guess,
regarded, even though he's a dick?
Right. Yes. Yeah. This is why. And he's so intense. Like you can tell he's even as much as like he might disagree with everything that's happening there because he was always a realist, or likes to think he is or whatever. He really, you can tell he still cares and he still tries hard out there and he wants to entertain the fans. And he's actually like dude, literally like Vince could have done nothing and Cornette could have built this promo himself or this angle himself. Like that's how good this was. Like he said.
Yep.
Like he actually got me excited to see this match for no reason. And I was not really excited.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
But yeah, that's the end of the show then. So that's Raw. Raw number 2 that we did. And we basically go to black and they hype the next show, but I tried not to, something about Taker's wrestling next week, blah, blah, blah. I try not to watch that though, because they come back from commercial and they do that. And I'm like, I want to be surprised. But
Taker's in your main event.
Taker's in your main event next week. That's pretty much, but that's Raw. There it is. That's the show.
So over on Nitro, the main event, Brian Pillman versus Ric Flair. I thought this was good, but they didn't have much time.
Yeah, I agree.
And like, it was okay. It was more hard hitting than I thought it would have been.
I think this is how I felt too. Like I definitely felt the same.
It's more brawl based or whatever you want to say.
I thought that I think we like, at least when I was watching this, I was expecting like Fall Brawl work, and I was like, oh shit, we're back on Nitro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this like I was way too excited for a Nitro match. Is I guess the best way to put it.
Yeah, perfect.
Were you surprised to see the Pillman Flair match this early after all the stuff that went down? Like, I thought there was going to be build to like a pay-per-view or something, and there still might be. Don't get me wrong. But
see, I thought the same thing. Like, I don't know if we're just used to it a certain way, but like, like I was thinking to myself, okay, they needed Pillman in the finish of the Arn match because obviously you don't want anybody going over on the other one clean,
right?
But like, is this settled now? Because basically the match was okay, blah blah blah. It was kind of like a brawl, but as soon as Ric Flair put the figure 4 on, it was almost immediately Pillman tapped, and I thought to myself, okay, like
I thought, that's what I thought. I was like, oh shit, like way to make a star, guys. Like,
right,
you're gonna use Flair in that way to make him, dude. Like, I don't think Flair would have any problem at the time building this and going to a pay per view and losing. I really don't. Like, but like you said, it might not be over, but it really seems like it's gonna be because he just beat him like that, and the focus shifts right to Arn again. So
yes, yeah, exactly.
Like you said, it was a wild brawl. It was fine. I was expecting more, but then again, it's Nitro. It was good still. It was definitely better than Man on a Mission versus Yoko. Like, way better than that match.
Yeah.
but like you said, it is what it was.
Yeah, and then after the match, he was like, Arn, I'm waiting on you.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get Arn. He was just teasing. And
he was just saying about how he's going to find him next week and kick his ass. But
yep.
He said, "Double A, read the sign and learn to love it." And, yeah, it's he's because he put up the 4 again. But yes. So that's the show.
After that, there was a tease for next week, and I'm not going to read everything, but because I only jotted one thing down, and I'll read it. But next week is the Nitro debut of the one and only Disco Inferno.
Yep, I saw that.
So
Did you?
here we go.
Now we're excited, boys. I love the way that they call him the Disco Inferno too.
Yes.
I forgot that before he was like, he was just like eventually he just became Disco Inferno, but he's the Disco Inferno. Like that's the true form of the gimmick, Disco Inferno. But dude, I was so hyped to see this. I was like, yes, dude, we get Disco next week. Like we're gonna mark out for that.
It's gonna be awesome. So
yeah, dude, that's 2 shows. Boom.
That's
Another week
in the books. What are you taking? Who won?
Nitro again.
Nitro.
Dude, they Vince's product sucks, man.
It does. It really does, man.
Like, as much as they can say it sucks, and we can be like, oh, yeah, it must have sucked against Nitro. Like, no, it's watching it for yourself really proves how boring it is. I'm so disinterested in everything that they're doing right now.
Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if, like, at this point, I think Diesel, Sean, and Owen can maybe throw some gas on the fire.
Yes.
At this pay-per-view.
But
as far as our interest in WWF, but
like,
I don't know. Like the rest of the card, man, is just.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Okay, so because like obviously our next episode, I guess, is gonna be in your house because that's the next thing.
Do you want me to go through the card without spoilers?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so this is what we're expecting. We have Fatu versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley. We have so there's your answer about Triple H.
I wonder if that's his debut, dude.
Good
we
question.
haven't gotten a vignette. Like, that's weird.
No, we haven't seen him yet. We have Waylon Mercy versus Savio Vega. Henry O. Godwin versus Psycho Sid.
Nice.
Bulldog versus Bam Bam. Dean and Razor. Jean-Pierre Lafitte versus Bret Hart, of course. And then we got the
main triple header.
The main triple header. And then there are more matches, which they haven't even really hyped these. Goldust, Bob Holly, Ahmed Johnson, Skip, and
Ahmed's there?
Taker versus King Mabel.
Oh my god. Oh, that's gonna be rough, dude.
So I don't know, like I see that it's listed that way, and I'm assuming someone watched it and wrote it down that way. But I can't imagine there's going to be matches after.
Maybe they were. I guess no. There's no way they're dark. Yeah, dude, that's. Oh my! But if you look at the talent there too, it's like how are these the matches?
I don't know.
It's just that everyone's opponent kind of sucks. That's what it is. Oh man, I'm not hyped for this at all. But
nope, me neither.
We're in too deep now.
Yes, we are.
I think the only thing that can save it, speculation wise, is if Sean and Diesel break up again. For me personally, is like if we get that feud, because other than that, I don't care really about the show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, none of that sounds. Brett and Pierre, the Pierre match, I'm kind of okay with. Or Lafitte. I think that'll be cool. Razor Dean Douglas could be good. But yeah, beyond that, man. It would be cool to see Sean and Diesel in a pay per view. We haven't seen Diesel wrestle yet, so that'll be cool too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know, man. There's not much. It's definitely not as excited because we were excited going into Fall Brawl. I'm not as excited even closely as I was with Fall Brawl. So, but yeah, dude. Once again, Nitro unanimously winning.
Yes.
Like it's
not even close.
I guess I can't see. I literally can't see them winning until 97 at this point.
And dude, even like if you want to go down to like the announcing, I think Nitro's better, even with Mongo, because McMahon is just annoying at this point.
Yeah.
The production's better on Nitro. The editing.
Well, because even if we have to deal with Mongo, we still get Heenan, so it cancels out. If not, even makes it better. You know what I mean?
Vince needs to take a downer before he goes on air.
I know, dude. Jesus,
it's crazy.
Because it's just like he's pooping on a mic for an hour. It's bad, dude.
It's true.
Yeah, I guess it's time for star of the show and star the promo of the show and match of the show or match. All right. Right. So let's start with promo, I guess. Hollywood, what you thinking?
Promo of the show. I think promo of the week.
Right.
I'm gonna go with the Macho Luger promo.
I think Yeah, no, I'm gonna go Macho Luger. I thought about Cornette for a second, but no, I'm gonna go Macho Luger. I'm just thinking about entertainment. Like as far as like mic work, Cornette wins. But as far as like me being entertained, by far Macho Luger. So
that's the thing. Like Cornette's promo was like gold,
but it was like
but
had no heat because we don't care.
Right? Like yeah, and it's not his fault, but at the same like it's everybody else's fault in that program, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Honorable mention Dean Douglas, but once again, no heat. Match. We'll go match next.
Match.
I have to look at my papers here.
I know. I'm scanning the matches. I think I'm actually going to go 1, 2, 3 Razor, even with the Dean interruption. Like, I really think Waltman was underrated, and we're seeing it already as 1, 2, 3 Kid. Like, I don't think he gets the credit. Like, it's a lot of Eddie and Jericho, like WCW cruiserweights. They get all the credit, but
he's the one who started.
He's doing it now.
Yeah, and Pillman.
1, 2, 3 Kid.
And Pillman are doing it the best right now. I'm as much as I like that match, I think I'm gonna go with the Harlem Heat American Males match.
Okay,
that's the one I was thoroughly entertained with, and I think that their timing and stuff was pretty good, and I thought that they put on an actual good match. Flair Pillman for me, I think like. It was good, but I think because my expectations were high, I'm kind of frowning upon it slightly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not that it's bad, like I said, but it's just I'm not putting it on a higher plane in my head, I guess I should say. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with the Harlem Heat. I mean, mainly because of Sherry and Parker, but just that whole segment / match was cool for me. So,
all
right. So star. This is the big star of the week. Macho is Macho 2 for 2, or did we go Flair and then Macho?
I think we went Flair Macho.
Okay.
This is where I'm gonna swerve you. I'm gonna go with Cornette as star. And for exactly what I said, like he sold it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I know you're thinking why not give him the promo then too? Well, it's just what I said. Like he shouldn't be selling it. Yeah. That's why I didn't give him the promo, but he was the star because he sold it. If that makes sense.
He saved the match, dude. He
yes.
did. He really did.
I mean, there was a line in the Diesel Shawn promo backstage, where Diesel said something like, and I guess it was just because it was current. He goes, "Ace is the place. Ask John Madden," and I'm like, dude, really? Like. What does that have any relevant? Like
he's not cool. He's Big Daddy Cool, and he's not cool.
Right. So far, I'm not getting.
And I do, vibe. And we both love Nash. Like we both love Nash. Dude, it bums me out.
Weird.
My star, I'm gonna go Flair. I think. Okay. I wanted to go Macho, but I thought about both of Flair's promos and him hitting the ropes and shit, and he wrestled a decent match. I think I'm gonna go Flair for those reasons. He had like Macho. As much as I love Macho, I can't keep giving it to him based off of just cutting a promo every week. Like right. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel bad, but so I think Flair's got 2. He's a 2-time champ now of the week, but he wins it for me. But yeah, all in all, guys, like once again, Raw sucks genuinely.
Yep. So this is what I want to do because for the sake of the episode, we need to keep doing those 3 spots.
Yeah.
But what I want to do, I'm going to write this down and keep track of it. So far for the match of the year.
Yes.
And we're going to do this at the end of the calendar year. We'll reset.
Good call.
So match of the year for you. Are you saying Pillman bad?
Johnny B. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Unequivocally, or however you say that word. Yes.
I absolutely agree. The promo spot of the year. What are you taking?
War Games.
The 5 crackhead?
Yes.
Okay, because that's what I'm writing down. I'm with you. Dude, that was like the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Like, once again, guys, please go watch it. I might link it on our Twitter just so people could go watch it.
Do it. And so far, star of the year.
Oh, man. I think Flair for me.
I want to say Macho.
Write both of them right now. We'll write both of them down because it'll obviously change by the end of the year. But I think those are the 2. Do we have to write a WWF guide just to keep it okay?
No, I don't think we do. I think somebody has to step up and steal it.
Yeah, because no one is.
Maybe it'll be the pirate. Who knows? He steals everything else.
He steals all the booty anyway. So, Oh, actually, for Star,
Let him come for our booty. See if he can steal that.
For Star, why don't you put Sherry too? We're overlooking Sherry, I think. All of her segments are enjoyable.
All right. I'll
Just
make
in case.
Sherry know.
Just honorable mention Sherry.
Okay.
Manager of the year so far, Sherry. But yeah. So,
There you go. Or corny.
But yeah, dude, so it'll be interesting to see who actually takes it by the end of the year, Flair or Macho, because I don't know where either of their storylines are going.
Yeah, right now it's hard, but, we just started this. So,
right.
I mean, October, November, December, plenty of time. People will emerge. The leaders will emerge.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
The cream rises to the top, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim. Yeah.
Which, by the way, we got a Slim Jim ad.
Dude.
I forgot to write that down. My bad.
Bro.
Step into it.
It was super early in the show, too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. All right, y'all.
All right.
That wraps it up for another Monday Night Marks.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up, bruh. So Monday Night Marks podcast. This was episode 4. Our second head-to-head. This was our third Nitro review. Check out our first classic pay-per-view review, episode 3, Fall Brawl 95 War Games. It was a blast. If you haven't already checked it out. But yeah, so another week, another Nitro victory. Not really a surprise, I don't think.
Nope. No surprise.
Macho Flair still doing their thing. The Colonel and Sherry doing their thing in more ways than one.
Ooh. Oh yeah, pal.
Oh yeah, pal. Oh yeah. But yeah, so this is another episode of the Monday Night Marks. Check us out on Twitter. Wherever we have YouTube, wherever you get all your favorite podcasts, we are. We appreciate all you guys listening on behalf of both Hollywood and I. Make sure to go check out AC, like we said earlier in the podcast, and Cool Truth in general and our homies. And yeah, look out for some more content. I guess next episode will be our In Your House review.
Yes.
So expect that within the next week. And yeah, peace. We love y'all. Stay safe.
To quote White House, nighty night.